Hey, what's up, fam? And welcome back again to Recap Kickback presents Hot D, the Westeros Kickback. That's right, it's me, Chappell, and we are back again to talk about another iteration of the Game of Thrones / House of the Dragons cinematic universe. And this time we are talking about A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, episode 2. And with me from the book corner, our Maester, she's back. It's Mari. Mari, welcome back.
What's up? Glad to be back. I'm enjoying this. I am enjoying this little hors d'oeuvre of the Game of Thrones universe. I'm glad to be talking it here with you, Chappell, and with a wonderful guest this week.
Yes, Recap Kickback faithfuls will know. The people from day one, our connected post-show recap people will know this person. She's been back for a little bit. We've been working on some things behind the scenes, but it's so happy for me to be able to welcome back our old friend Latonya Starks. Welcome back, LT.
Oh, I'm home. I'm home.
She's back.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me to talk about this show. I am convinced that this show is a PR strategy concocted by the people who produce Game of Thrones to get us to believe that good things can happen in the GOT universe. Like come back to the park, everybody. It's fine. There's only like one giant incident that happened. People are just spearing each other to death. But it's fun, you know?
Yeah. I hate that you said that.
Westeros needs a PR, like a strategist.
I feel you. I feel you, Latonya. But see, for me, I'm not, as y'all know, not very familiar with the books. Mari does a lot of the teaching here on this podcast, and Mari knows a lot. She knows it all. But me, I'm coming in blind. And for some reason, for some strange reason, I let my guard down here. I have not been feeling like, hey, anybody could die. You know, like the thing you learn within one episode of Game of Thrones, within a couple episodes of House of the Dragon, is that none of your faves are safe. And you're right, Latonya. This show has done so good of like kind of letting my guard down. Within 2 episodes, I have not thought that either Dunk or Egg was in danger. We haven't met anybody I thought was not long for this board. Like, I'm sorry if we lose the Laughing Storm in the next episode or something like that, I would be devastated. Like, I legit was not prepared for something like this. So yeah, you're right. This is doing the Lord's work here, or one of the 7 lords, or lords, however many they got.
Yeah, we pray to the 7.
Yeah.
7, yeah.
So Daniel Ings, who plays Lionel Baratheon, is the reason that I know this man is because in every single thing that he is in, he is an F-boy. He's like that is his, like, he is just typecast constantly as an F-boy. So to see him like show up, especially in that first episode where they were dancing and he like just, you know, wacky inflatable tube manning. It was just really fun to see. Like, it's medieval times, dinner and tournament. That's what we're getting.
And I've been enjoying it so far. Before we get into all of the Westerosi nonsense of this week, let me first thank all our listeners for joining us. If you are new here, if you just found us because of our Westeros Kickback coverage of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, please be sure to go back and check out our House of the Dragon coverage. But all of the other stuff that we have here on Recap Kickback, we've been getting some followers now because I've been like sliding these reels into people's groups and hoping that people will come. And so, so there's some newbies here. Yeah, welcome. And just a little bit, like I said, about us. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just here to watch the show and comment. But we have a legit maester from Westeros, Mari, who gives us all of our backstory and our insight in what we call Maester Mari's book corner at the end of the podcast. And so normally we reserve all spoilers and things of the book that we really need to get into, or just until the end. So if you're sitting at home thinking like, why aren't they talking about this? There's a spot for that. And if we don't talk about it this week, trust me, Mari's got it. Is that right, Mari?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's, it's not too much spoilery stuff to talk about it, but we can break down some extra stuff in the book corner this week.
Yes. And now I have to ask Latonya, you and I think you and I have spoken about Game of Thrones in the past. I believe we might have did a podcast where we did a crossover podcast. I think it was something like Game of Thrones versus something else we were watching. I don't remember. So I've heard you speak on it before, but tell the listeners what your background is with this and why you were such a good guest here for episode 2.
Well, I started watching Game of Thrones immediately. Like I had never heard of these books, even though the author went to my college. I am not a big reader because my job requires so much reading that it doesn't feel fun to me to read.
It's work.
But like, disappearing into, like King's Landing or like the Seven Kingdoms was amazing. The commercials convinced me, and like my aunt and I would watch it. We would like order food, and it was like a bonding thing that we had. Like one of the last things that she, got to enjoy, and I got to enjoy with her. But I recently have been saying in the year 2026, Daenerys Targaryen did nothing wrong. I would have probably done worse. Yeah. I love Game of Thrones. I love Daenerys Targaryen as a character. I hate the way the show ended, like everybody else, because like you can't convince me that a woman has gone insane because she won't eat the food you poisoned. You know what I mean? But yeah, I go all the way back to the original Game of Thrones, like when it aired. The Red Wedding, I did not see that coming. I wish I knew Mari at that time because I needed like a moment or two after like recover when that happened. And
I have famously said on multiple Game of Thrones books that I read the Red Wedding on Christmas morning in my mom's house, sobbing.
Merry Christmas.
Sobbing. So that I know. So when it came out, when the episode came out, like 2 years later, I believe, I was just staring at my husband's face, like just waiting for. I was doing the thing where it's like you're waiting for the reaction.
Yeah. Ooh. And now I am doing that via TikTok, or I guess whatever the app is now that it's been sold. I love watching people experience those moments for the first time. Like finding out who Jon Snow is, and the like justice that we get, that Sansa gets against Littlefinger, like things like that. I love watching people experience that because I like loved that show, and it wrecked me the way that they left it. I'm still a puddle.
I see.
Can I just say, Latonya is right, and she's reminding me of like the thick of my Game of Thrones fandom. Like when I was in the thick of the fandom, in between those seasons, baby, I was going down every rabbit hole, watching every YouTube video. R plus L equals J.
Yes.
Again, I've said it on podcasts. Like I've reread the books several times in several different ways. Because it makes it exciting when you read them in different ways. Like I have never been so immersed in a universe the way I was in Game of Thrones, 2011 to 2019. And you kind of forget how impactful it was when a lot of us were left wanting in the end. Not only that, we still have not gotten the books, which is why I come out here and cuss George R.R. Martin out every single week. Like we can't return to your world. Like how are you okay as an author that your fans have not been able to return to your world for 14 fucking years? Like do your job, man. Okay, sorry.
Get this woman a dragon.
She don't need one.
She's absolutely right.
They played in y'all face. That's all I can say. They played in y'all face. I jumped in, watched the show, loved it, and then when they messed it up, I was like, "Hey, y'all, they're messing this up." And I got to watch all the people like Mari and Latonya who were fully immersed. They were in denial for so long. 2 seasons of just like, no, they're gonna save it. It's gonna be okay, and it wasn't. But luckily, we now have a Night of the Seven Kingdoms to talk about, and we are on our 2nd episode, and we get a whole new little journey here with our 2 main characters that we saw unite for the first time in Dunk and Egg. But this episode is largely centered around Sir Arlen, and when I say largely, I mean large. Mari. This was an interesting character study of our late sire.
I mean, Like they're like, we're going to give you so much like bodily fluids before the title cards,
all
like
of them.
every week. I think I'm just gonna expect it every week, and then if it doesn't happen, I'll be fine. Like I I was like, oh wow. I was like, it was just you like you have to stare at it. It's like you're like
it's there.
We're getting
we had very different reactions, Mari. I was like, I wonder if he needs a sugar baby.
Well, he's
dead available.
Well, he did.
That's how you leave
all
in a
the
wheelchair.
Good ones are.
Sir Arlen needed something, because in these last 2 episodes, I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't have the best vision of who I thought Sir Arlen was. Like, we know what Dunk thinks of him, right? We know Dunk thinks very highly of him, but we've almost seen nothing to reflect that at all. You know, like the people Dunk says should know him, they're like, I don't know him. The stories he tell, we get little flashbacks and things that it like Dunk's like, oh yeah, he always cared for me, but he seemed kind of rude. You know, there were times where you know, he was kind of calling him dumb and things of that nature. So I'm like, is Sir Arlen even that great? But at least he, you know, speaks quietly and carries a big stick.
Exactly. And I love how the producers at the end were like, we gave him that so that he would, it's like, it's so weird, right? They're like, Sir Arlen is so comfortable with himself, so comfortable with his place in the world, basically because he has a big dick. Like it's very interesting, like psychology. But I think getting these scenes of Sir Arlen were important. These scenes definitely are for our benefit of like his personality and him, and furthering our understanding of him and Dunk's relationship. So I think it was great, and I'm glad that we are going to continue to just get these small inner-seated pieces of Sir Arlen, because like I said, we're gonna get as long as they do it right, and they can't even get around it, we're gonna get more and more as we get into season 2, as the show goes on. It's gonna be like an unfurling, and it's basically just to show us again how Dunk is responding to his upbringing. So this is great. Can I just say before we really get into it, I'm on all of the social medias. I'm looking at the Twitters, I'm looking at the threads, right? And I'm still trying to get a sense of how the audience is feeling about this show.
Okay.
I think the second episode was a little bit more well received. A lot of people shocked about the full frontal, of course. But I think the tournament aspect of it, I think finally seeing some houses that people know is kind of grounding this episode. So it looks like people are starting to get on the train. I'm just saying this because again, we talked about it a little bit last week, but throughout the week I've just kind of checking in to see, it's very mixed reviews. Like I really think people did not get the memo. You know what I'm saying? Like someone said this is a sitcom based in Westeros, and honestly, like that is, you can kind of
that's fair.
If you go into it thinking like that, I think you come away not feeling, with a better understanding of what you're in for and liking the property a whole lot more. Because a lot of people, there's somebody who's like, where are the dragons? Where are the Targaryens? Where are like all of this stuff? Somebody said, do we need this story to be told?
Damn.
Yeah, they're like,
do we even need this?
Why didn't they play the Game of Thrones intro theme? What? Like, so the show seems so far removed from the style of Game of Thrones and House of Dragon. It's unserious. Is the book this way? Yes. Like,
yes, actually, yes.
Just enjoy things. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly.
But also,
oh, go ahead, Latonya.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, I think that this is a failure in like marketing this show.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree.
So many people didn't even know it was about to happen. We promoted it and people were in our comments like, oh, I didn't even know that was coming. Like, how?
Right.
This is the biggest IP. The Game of Thrones thing is the biggest IP that HBO has had ever. And yet here we are, and y'all don't even know the second spinoff is happening.
Marketing, terrible. Did not prepare the audience for like Game of Thronesy things, like, you know, murder immediately, violent death, people, you know, like going in and expecting that, and then watching that first episode where they literally shit on that convention. There should have been a memo, you know, there should have been a press plan to get people to understand that this show has a drastically different tone than you are used to. But if you just follow along with it, it will enrich the world that you already love. Like, that's all you have to say.
Exactly. But I think that's the problem. It's kind of like when they were hiding that half the movies from like 2 years ago were musicals, right? It's like they don't want to tell you that it's different because they want as many Game of Thrones fans to come to it, and they want it to stand off the strength of the IP. But I don't think they understand the audience enough to be like, more than likely these people are coming, but also prepare them. But then I remember, Chappell, you said on our preview podcast, you were like, why should I watch this after y'all fumbled the last season of Game of Thrones? And me over here with my stupid like Game of Thrones hats on, like, it's Game of Thrones, you gotta watch it. You're like, yeah, I don't have to.
Yeah, you do.
And honestly, I've seen mixed reviews about the end of House of the Dragon as well. The last episode of House of the Dragon was not well received, and so I think a lot of people don't trust the IP anymore. You know, I think that if you gave so much time to Game of Thrones, I'm telling you, I'll say this, and I know the Thronesers that's listening to this, it's gonna be hard for you to hear. The last 2 seasons of Game of Thrones were bad, not the last one. Not the finale. The last 2 seasons were bad. And this is not somebody who like watched it from the beginning. I'm talking about binged them and was like, wait, what is this? Very early on, and so so it is what it is. A lot of people just didn't trust it, and so they're coming in and they're looking to be let down. And so when things aren't hitting the marks that they want them to hit, they're complaining. And I don't find that a problem for anybody. Like, I think that the show put itself in that position.
It also doesn't help that Ryan Condal, the person who produces House of the Dragon, and George R.R. Martin are having a very messy public fight.
Ooh, but I like it.
Yeah,
yes,
right
turn
now.
it up.
Yeah,
turn it up. Yes, turn it up.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, investor confidence, and we are the investors, right? We are the people who are like spending our time paying extra money so we can see HBO shows. So respect the consumer and get it together. Like, we don't need to see your open fighting. How about you write it out? How about that?
Write a
How
book.
about you use that energy to finish writing the book that
God forbid. God forbid a writer write.
Listen, all that said, I am not in that group of people who is not enjoying this, right? I am enjoying this because, one, I trust Mari, right? Mari wouldn't have told me to watch this if she didn't think it was going to be good. So we're watching it. And again, I knew what to expect coming in. I knew this was going to be a more fun look at the people in Westeros that don't really move the needle as much in like the Game of Thrones nobility that we're always dealing with, right? These houses that are warring and the political intrigue is not so much what we're talking about here, right? There might be some of that. We're going to see some of the familiar names and some definitely some familiar names because they recycle the same 17 here on Game of Thrones. But like, you know, but aside from that, I knew that wasn't what we were getting. Right here, we're getting like almost like a coming of age tale of a knight, you know, the equivalent to Mari called it like a knight's tale, right? We're learning how Dunk goes from Dunk, who is, you know, very insecure about his intelligence. He's a big dude. He's kind of awkward, but how he goes from there to hopefully becoming a knight and being a part of one of these noble houses. That's the journey he's on. And that's the show that we got. And so far, Latonya, I've been enjoying these 2 episodes. What about you?
Oh, yeah. I've had a lot of fun. I love the dynamic between Dunk and Egg. It's just so good. They have such good chemistry. Dexter Saul Ansel, who plays Egg, is the most adorable child as well. Like, even with no hair, because I love a precocious kid. Like, I'm pretty much always in on a precocious kid and like an awkward dude. And then you also have the fact that Oh, this is notable. Our first Irish accent in Game of Thrones with Peter Claffey, who plays the
Dunk.
main character, who plays Dunk. Aidan Gillen, who played Littlefinger, was Irish, but he tried to change his accent every season to hide the fact that he was Irish.
Damn.
He was like, Shanza. Shanza. Chaos is a ladder. Like, where is this man from? Like, ain't that the man from The Wire? Like, boy, I know that's you. Ain't that you from The Wire? Boy, I see you.
Why are you talking like the Riddler, sir? Right. But yeah, like I'm enjoying him going from place to place and like seeing these people that he has heard tales of from his like former master, and he is just trying to be legitimized by anyone in this society. And it's so difficult for him because at the same time that he is doing this, he is mourning his abuser. Because we see in flashbacks, first time flashbacks have been used in Game of Thrones. We see in flashbacks, like most of the time that a lesson was taught to Dunk, he was like hit in the face or something like that.
Tough love.
Yeah, and so he's having very like conflicting feelings about this person, but also being like, he fought for all of you and none of you recognize him. Like, what was his life for? AKA, what is my life for?
Yeah.
So I really do enjoy this show as like just a character study. It's like I enjoy British like slowed down character story things. This seems like what we're getting, and we're getting it with a lot of like really familiar names of people that we probably heard of before in Game of Thrones, but like, historically, from people talking about them. I just think that this show is really cool, and I'm very interested in how it's gonna work going forward.
So, Mari, in this episode, Dunk and Egg, they're on a mission, right? Dunk's still trying to get somebody to recognize Sir Arlen's name. He's name dropping everybody. He was in your House Florence guard, and his when his Lord Father went blind, and he fought with the brothers in Redgrass for House Hayward and all these other stuff. Hayford, I think. But he did all these things. He served with the Tyrells, and nobody knows who he is. And like Latonya pointed out, by the end, Dunk is kind of questioning if he knows who Sir Arlen is. He's like, how did you do all these things? And were you that noble of a knight? Were you that were you that I don't know, important to where you would do all of these things, but still die on the side of the road with your your squire only there beside you. You have no kids, you have no money, you have no family. There's nothing to show for it, but you did all these great things. He's having a hard time believing it.
Yeah, and that's what we were kind of talking about last week. It's like, was Sir Arlen embellishing these stories? Was he never there? Or was it that he was there and nobody remembers him? And what kind of legacy is that? What kind of life is that? And I've always fallen on the side that he was there. It's just that these noble houses, these noble highborns, it's like we've seen the flip side of them on Game of Thrones. They're so worried about they're so far up their own asses. They don't know what the small folk are doing. They don't know what a simple hedge knight is doing. So it's a realization for Dunk that you could commit your life to doing right, being chivalrous, being a knight fighting for a worthy cause, and still walk away with absolutely nothing to show for it. But I think it's also in a tale that I think he said Sir Arlen didn't want for anything. You know what I'm saying? He was happy with his big dick, and he was just he went on his merry way. He was okay wandering, you know what I'm saying? And I think Dunk is starting to see that that's not the life he per se wants. He says he wants to fight so he can be noticed, so he can be landed by a great house.
Yeah. And so one of the people that we do meet in this episode does remember Sir Arlen and Mari, I believe this is Baelor?
Baelor, yep. Prince Baelor, Breakspear, Prince of Dragonstone, Hand of the King.
Yeah. All of these titles and his brother Maekar. That's it. Just the brother Maekar. No words. Yes. No, nothing cool. Just there. Just looking mean and surly. But
Maekar is the fourth son, so
nobody cares about him, is what you're saying?
Maekar is the fourth son. So.
Yeah, there you go.
So wait, is he the one that the Sept is built after?
The Sept of Baelor? No, I believe that's Baelor, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. I thought
you're thinking of Baelor the Blessed.
I am.
Yeah, this is not him. Okay. He was before this.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, because I'm my country ass. Baelor. So Baelor is here, and Baelor, he remembers Sir Arlen, or at least the legend of him, right? Like he's able to, when Dunk is rattling off the resume, he's able to kind of meet him halfway and even challenge some of the things that he's saying, because he's talking about how, okay, if this is the case, then you should be able to tell me about the Grey Lion. So Mari, what is the story about this Grey Lion and Daemon Lannister as far as Sir Arlen is concerned?
No, it's just a tourney history. Sir Baelor was going to fight Sir Arlen of Pennytree in the tournament, so he basically did reconnaissance on him by watching Sir Arlen face the Grey Lion, because clearly if Sir Arlen made it to Prince Baelor, he had to have gone through a few other people. Yeah. So he goes to the Grey Lion. Baelor is basically using the Grey Lion's name to confirm Dunk's identity, right? Because he's trying to make sure that the stuff that Dunk is saying, because Dunk is giving his history, and like you said, Baelor remembers it well, so he's meeting him halfway, but he's also trying to confirm that Dunk is who he say he is. So withholding the Grey Lion's name and asking Dunk to say who the Grey Lion's name is, it's a test. And Dunk does that little stumble where he's like thinking really hard, but he comes up with it. But Prince Baelor is like beloved, and Baelor is like the shining prince. He of course he remembered the history of a knight, of a hedge knight from 16 years ago, and Baelor's like, well, I broke 4 lances against him before he unseated him, and he's like, it's stuck with me. And Dunk just spewing Sir Arlen's exaggerated portion of the tale, and Prince Baelor handling it correctly in a sense of like, it's okay, stuff gets exaggerated, it was really 4, but I do remember Sir Arlen, and he is confirmed, and basically he gets the blessing from the prince to fight in the tilts in the list. So such a great moment here. I absolutely love this moment, because it looked like all hope was lost, and Sir Duncan found help in one of the unlikely places, a Targaryen prince, when the Targaryens are not in high favor right now.
No, they've rolled in and saved the day for Dunk. Now, Latonya, he says, 4 lances, and Dunk says it was 7. I was going to give the benefit of the doubt to Dunk. I was like, Sir Arlen was right. Baelor, why you lying? Why you won't just let this, like, y'all highborn swear up and down, y'all can't be beat when this little old man with his big dick came and rocked you 7 times. Give it to him 7 times.
He still lost. He's still lost.
But 7, hey, it's a valiant effort, okay? He was jousting with that thing.
Sure.
Big stick.
Listen, far be it from me to speak ill of any man with a big dick, but he did not seem to have any big dick energy. That's, like, you got to give something. So I believe the nice man who like remembered the fight, I believe it was 4. Sorry.
Yeah. And he is the nice man, because the other person we meet here, Maekar, has nothing nice to say. He's seems very irritated by Baelor's like kind of like connection and wanting to know these things, and even his like giving any attention to Dunk. Like if it was up to Makar, they would have kicked Dunk out and went on about their day, because they are having a very interesting conversation. Mari, they have a couple of the princes are missing and assumed dead potentially.
Right. I don't like how everybody was like, Latonya's headline says, "I pray they will not be found dead." What Dunk says, like, sir, shut up. Like
why would you share
he's so awkward. Like, I'm sorry, but that's me. Like
that wasn't his fault though, because the little girl who we haven't talked about at all was like, they probably dead. So she planted that in his head. It wasn't like he came in there like, oh, I hope your kids ain't dead. Like that girl said they probably dead. He was just trying to give his little condolences. I'm Team Dunk, man.
Yeah. So they're worried about that. They're worried about the missing princelings. We'll talk about that a little bit. Well, if anybody has listened to the book corner last week, you would already know what's going on with that, but we'll talk about it a little bit more. But the Targaryens are here. I wonder how many of our listeners breathed a sigh of relief. But again, these are not the Targaryens you're used to. You know what I'm saying? Like these are the Targaryens without dragons. These are the Targaryens where it's their first time that the last 2 generations have had to rule not as they once had, so again, we will see a little bit more about how the small folk perceive them, right? Because that's what this whole show is about. It's about the perception of the small folk, and that's that's a great thing about this show, and that's kind of why, and that's why I'm like, that's why there's more potty jokes and stuff, y'all. We're like, again, we're not at the highborn tables, we are in the pits with people.
So we also met this guy. He's not nor Baelor nor Makar. What's his name, Mari?
Arian Bright Flame.
Makar's,
one of Makar's sons.
He seems like the type of jerk that we're used to on when it comes to these highborn families, right? Like he looks at Dunk, he automatically assumes he's a servant. Now, to his point, Dunk does look like a servant. He's saying that he's a knight, but sir, you're still walking around with this piece of rope tied to you. Like you don't look like a knight. But he did pop up for just a brief moment, only to kind of like remind Dunk that he's a fish out of water. In a lot of ways, he's just in the way. He's very large, but he doesn't know where he's going. And these people are more like trying to live life around him. Like it is very indicative of being small folk, right? Where these noble things are happening and you're just an NPC. You're a background character to some of the other things. Like he's wandering down the hall when these things are happening. He's not moving with any purpose because his goal is still to be, the next big thing as far as being a knight. So I thought that these scenes where the Targaryens show up really do put in perspective, Latonya, the difference between what Dunk and Egg are about to deal with and the stuff we're normally seeing on Game of Thrones.
Yeah, normally, like the main character of this show, for example, would be the guy that we just saw. And we would be following him. I mean, there's just Targaryen men, and there's even like, Mari, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's even something in one of the books that talks about how like the Targaryen women are the ones that are like the real stars of that family, which I believe. So like I'm interested to see what these Targaryens are up to. I'm interested to see if anyone will get to like the level of oh my gosh, what is his name?
Which one?
Rhaenyra's husband.
Oh, Daemon.
Like, honestly, if you don't live up to Daenerys or Daemon, then are you really a Targaryen? I don't know. So we're like, I'm happy to see them there. It's always great to see their banners because that they are bringing the drama, and I cannot wait. I've seen this actor, Finn Bennett, in like a couple different things, and he is one of those like he gives like great performances. He's one of those people who like kind of embodies the character that he's doing really well, and he really is doing a great job at playing a rich asshole.
Yeah. I think probably most notably from True Detectives, I believe he was in. So yeah, very, very much the drama has pulled up here with their black and red banners. But like Mari said, you keep an eye for that kind of stuff. And so I was very excited to see it. But before we move on too far, Dunk did get some good advice from Baylor. He said, yeah, you can't wear Sir Arlen's stuff. Like you're not his actual child, you're not his blood, so you have to find your own sigil and your own armor and stuff like that to do combat in. So it sounds like Dunk just makes up his sigil on the spot, like Sun said. Luckily Egg is there to be like, yeah, that tree. They talk about the shooting star. Is that basically just the last scene from the episode we just watched in episode 1?
Yeah. Yeah. It's all of that together. The evening,
it's beautiful.
Star. Yep. And the funny thing about this, right, is like, it's made up. We're all like, oh my God, look at him just making up his sigil. But that's what all of these sigils, the red dragon on the black field, the gray dire wolf on a white field, all of those were made up at one point. And then they were built up as the houses were built up around them. Just like some houses that had old sigils were taken down. You know what I'm saying? Where House Gardner used to be the kings of the Reach. They no longer exist. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. It's great houses and small houses rise and fall every day in this world. So Dunk coming up with his sigil is such a great moment because now you're thinking of where it could take him.
Yeah.
And who's doing the like drawing? We get to meet Tansel. Am I pronouncing her name wrong?
Yep, Tansel the Tall. Too tall. Tansel too tall.
Played by Tamsin Crawford. There's a black woman in Game of Thrones and she's not a slave.
Hey, we did it. You know, shout out to the Balerions. You know.
And she just seems really sweet and cool. And I also love her I love her banter with Egg. That little kid is so smart. I know that, like, you know, he has some form of education. Like, he just keeps giving things away, like little by little, because he knows too much.
Yeah.
For a child his age.
Yeah. And I love how, sorry, Chappell, I just love Tansel's, the puppetry, what they've done with the puppetry. I know I said it last week, but I gotta say it again. Like, you know, in the graphic novel, it's just like little puppets, you know, the ones we're used to. But this massive puppetry, this artistry, making it bigger is so amazing to see. Like, that's so cool.
Right. And Tansel Too Tall has now met Dunk the Tall officially. And you know, there's some commonality there. Egg will point out, you know, this might not be necessarily a love at first sight situation, but at least y'all both tall. And so Dunk goes to ask Tansel to paint his sigil on his armor. And you know, it is like looking like love goggles a little bit, Latonya, from Dunk's point of view, but we're not, I don't think we got enough information to know if Tansel's into it as well.
Yeah, it feels like she is just trying to do her job and make
just like a man, just like I do her job, and
here coming,
and he's like tripping over words, and Egg is like, "What's wrong with you?" Like, it's kind of great because the whole time she's just very pleasant and professional because she's at work.
Yeah. Egg's the wingman here. He's like, you know, I could see this happening for you. You know, y'all both got height and she's working for you. She took your money. So there could be something. He's very much like trying not to hurt Dunk's feelings, but also like kind of leaving it open. Like, I don't know, y'all just met. You know, I don't know why Dunk feels like there should have been some like connection between the two of them in this monetary exchange, but you can tell he's feeling it. And he's trying to get her attention a little bit more. And these are just more of those scenes like you were talking about, Latonya, where Precocious Egg is kind of more tapped in to Dunk. He's a lot more knowledgeable about things. And Dunk almost seems a little bit kind of like taken aback every time Egg drops some knowledge. And I mean, who wouldn't be, right? Like, he's a tiny kid and he seemingly knows the history of some of these houses. He knows these knights by name. And to me, they kind of like complement each other, like in this like weird Banjo Kazooie way, Mari. It's like on the one hand, it's like Dunk is really, really tall, but he might not be all there, mentally. He hasn't, he doesn't have all the knowledge that Egg has, but Egg is really small, and he would love to have the height that Dunk has, but he's kind of a little bit more witty, a little bit more learned than Dunk. So it's like together, when they finally get on, he puts Dunk on the back on his shoulders. That's when they finally have met their final form. Like that's the Megazord, the Voltron moment. So
it's giving Freak the Mighty for all my bookheads. Yeah, exactly. Like this show goes to show you how their bond is gonna be fortuitous for both of them. I just love it. Oh my god. Like this is one of my favorite, like the novellas, the Dunk and Egg novellas are so good, like so good told. The graphic novels are amazing, and just seeing the relationship between the two main characters is worth the read, period, full stop. And then all of the intrigue of Westeros is an icing on the cake.
Yeah, they definitely complement each other, and it's fun to see because they both have kind of like what the other one needs. And in a way, they're like Dunk is trying to be the next, like super knight, but Egg wants to be a knight too. He's like, hey, you think I could ever, get up there? I'm a little small, but I think I could, with a little help, I think I could get there. But you can tell he's insecure about it, right? Like he's not like he's been small. He's small for his age, and so this is something that he's going to struggle with. We do meet two other people who show up, and they are fully formed, and I believe they are brothers in honor, but a little nobility shows up here to kind of also put things in perspective for Dunk, because he meets this pair. Mari, who are they?
Oh, shoot. Craycall, Sir whatchamacallit, Craycall, and then
Roland Craycall and Sir Donnell of Duskendale.
Right. I know the backstory. I didn't know you need me to put the names out of my butt. Okay.
I just want to take a second for us to appreciate this armor. Like this costuming is so good.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
Look at how beautiful the one on the left. That armor is gorgeous.
They looking to take a dump somewhere. And
they sure are actually.
They're looking, and they got noble assholes, and they got to use the hay on it now. They're not in a place of nobility anymore, but we do learn a lot about them in these moments. Sir Roland, I believe, he takes off to go wipe his hole, but Sir Donnell is the one who talks about his family lineage and how his family were crabbers of Duskendale, and now look at him. A knight. He's moving with the nobility. And so this is inspirational to Dunk until later on Egg tells him, no fool, his family is from crabbers because they own the fleet, the whole fleet of crabbers in like basically the entire like world. Basically, like this man comes, there's a nepo baby, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't get the same type of like zero to hero story from this, but Dunk was really looking at this like, well, if he could do it, so could I. And I think he was humbled when Egg had to correct him, Latonya.
Yeah, very much humbled, and it was also hilarious. I mean, the thing that they have going on is that they have like a Mandalorian situation happening, where there's Dunk, and he is like trying to be a knight. Like it's the only thing that he wants to do. He feels like he could really like change his life if he were to become a knight. And then there's Egg, who is just like, these are the facts. Like these people are born to the positions that they get. Like they have them because they have the last name that they do. So like you being someone who has only just been legitimized as a knight, for another hedge knight, and and like they're called hedge knights because of like sleeping in hedges. It's not like a nice name to give to them. So just watching their dynamic is so good, and watching Egg just kind of be able to quickly like take in a situation and assess it, and like deal with things on the fly. He's just so smart. I just love the way that this kid is acting, the facial expressions that he makes, everything.
So I thought that they were pretty respectful to Dunk here, and Sir Dustin, he's not wrong, right? He's being a little bit humble about his like beginnings, even though he is a nepo baby, but he's not wrong. We saw it in House of the Dragon. Sir Kristen Cole, who was not of a noble house, half Dornishman, rose up to a Lord Commander of the King's Guard. So it is not out of the possibility for a knight to, like, through good deeds and actions, to actually make it to a high place, and even the highest place considered for a knight. So I did like that. It showed everybody like that, like for a brief second, like everybody was like, yeah, so he could do this, and then kind of like the also like smack back down to reality, like, yeah, but not this dude. This dude just like he kind of like bought his way to it,
Yeah. Oh, well, Dunk is good at making friends. We see him reunite again with the Laughing Storm for a little tug of war, and that goes well. Just demonstrating how tough and like strong Dunk is. So like somebody like he anchors that group, and the Laughing Storm really does like him. So he's making maneuvers to kind of position himself well if he ever is to make it. We see him go off and end up having to sell his horse, sadly, in order to get money so that he could purchase some armor for this upcoming joust. And so he does a little bartering, a little bargaining, I guess I should say, with this like blacksmith guy. He agrees to make the armor, and then off they go when the horn sounds to watch the jousting start. Now, there is one person who was flagged up in the jousting, who I think Dunk was saying, like, if I had to bet on somebody, I bet on this guy. What was it? Is this
Valar Targaryen?
Yes. And
Baelar's
son, right? And the favorite to win, I believe, at this point, or at least from Dunk's point of view.
Yeah. For the second behind the throne. Yeah. Mostly because people think that if a prince is in a list, like, people aren't gonna want to really hit them.
Right. Imagine somebody like smacking Joffrey around and living to tell the tale. Like, it didn't happen often.
Tyrion Lannister.
He barely lived to tell the tale. It was a tough. He fought for his life for the rest of his days.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Valar is here. He doesn't have the cool streak in the hair that he does in the book here, but that's cool. And this was insane to me. I thought this was so cool. We've seen jousting in so many, if there's jousting and there's medieval, you see jousting, but to see like freaking, what was it, like 10 people going up against each other at one time? That was ridiculous. I was like, wild. Who thought of this? This is stupid. It's really dumb. I mean, it was entertaining, but it's dumb for the people actually doing it.
It makes no sense. My favorite part was when the Laughing Storm decided to change the position that he was in for the last part of it, and he walks by and he smacks Dunk on the ass and said, "It's looking good."
Yeah,
like what?
He just took a swig of water, okay, and got back to it and put the finishing touches on that. But yeah, we've seen some pretty cool moments in this episode for sure. The jousting was dope, but of course, I think the heart of the show is like the relationship between Dunk and Egg. And by the end of it, Dunk basically looking at Egg and saying like, "Hey, Arlen's legacy is not speaking for itself, but I'm about to be his legacy." Like, he really could have been like almost like discouraged and said like, you know what, maybe this isn't for me, because we see him having flashes during the joust where he's like thinking about like his training, but then thinking about what he sees in front of him. He's like, I don't know if this is for me. But instead of going and being like, you know what, Egg, we got to get out of here, this ain't it, their squires are bigger than you. I'm not as trained and skilled as these other people. I don't really know who anybody is. Like, I'm a fish out of water. But it seems like in that moment he doubles down and says like, nah, I'm going to, like, I'm all he has. I'm all Arlen has to the world. I will be the one to carry the torch for him, and I will give people like the legacy that Arlen thought that he had. And so moving forward, I think we're going to see a lot more of that. But we do have to wrap soon, so let's go ahead and get to Maester Mari's book corner and then talk about anything that could be a little bit spoilery right now. Mari, we're in the book corner.
You give the spoiler. The spoiler thing gets shorter and shorter every time. So I'm always worried for that one person that's like,
listen, I said the spoilers are coming. The book corner is here. If you're not paying attention, this is us telling you, get the hell out of here. Okay, we'll see you next week.
And subscribe to Recap Kickback.
Please subscribe. Leave very nice comments. We love you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Now, you just told everybody, you said, get the hell out. I'm like,
everybody leave.
I got a production note that we needed to hurry up. So I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yes. So again, that banner takes me out every time.
I love it. I love it so much.
Not too much spoilery stuff. The only thing is, Chappell, if you can bring back up that the genealogy chart that we had, yes, from the preview. So the good thing about this episode, we finally get the introduction of the Targaryen princes, and we got mentions about a few of the Targaryens. So like we said, we saw Baelor and Maekar here. Baelor, again, crown prince, number 1, first son. Maekar, 4th son in line. And even they make a mention, they say, Daeron isn't as fit as the joust as Aerys and Rhaegal are. So Aerys Targaryen, the 2nd son in line at here, shown here, and Rhaegal, the 3rd son. Both of them are not seen. They're not seen in this series, in this book. The little we do know about them is they are more on the scholarly side. Yeah, they don't normally participate in the tournament. So we have Baelor and Maekar here. And then again, if you remember last week's book corner, when we said Dunk was at the inn and he ran into a drunken dragon, that drunken dragon is Sir Daeron Targaryen, one of the missing sons of Maekar Targaryen. And one of the sons that they're looking for. So we have on hand here in this tournament 1 Baelor Targaryen, 2 Valor Targaryen, 3 Maekar Targaryen. Aerion is here right now. So Aerion Brightflame, Maekar's 2nd son. And we're still looking for Prince Daeron and Maekar's other son. So 4 Targaryens on site right now, with possible more to come.
Ooh, okay.
Targaryen watch.
Yeah, I said, Latonya, how do you feel about the Targaryen renaissance that we're having here with the Lowborns?
You know, I'm interested in getting to learn more about the Targaryens. I really do love that family. For they're just so messy. And I think that really draws me to them. I'm interested to see how this is going to turn out and what's going to happen with the sons and are people going to be discovered? I also just, in the history of the Targaryens, did they ever think, maybe I'm just going to name my boy Maurice?
They don't know.
Never.
They all have the same damn names.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They just recycle names. What are you doing?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And so because this is a spoilery book corner, again, I want to reiterate with everybody, this is about 80 years post Dance with the Dragons, which is about 50 years post dragons themselves. Like I kind of felt like it's a spoiler, but it's not a spoiler because in Game of Thrones, when we enter the Game of Thrones world, there are no dragons anymore, right? It's kind of weird, right? Because that used to be that was the standard. It was like there are no dragons. Daenerys has the only dragons. But now when we were transported back to House of the Dragons, it's like, oh, everybody lives in a world where they're still here. But at this point, again, this is the if I remember correctly, it's like the second generation that does not have a dragon, or the first, either the first or second generation of kings to not have a dragon. So this is the first time that the Targaryen kings are trying to hold on to a kingdom that they took over by force by dragon fire, and they no longer have those weapons. So you can prepare to see a lot more grumbling from the small folk because they don't have to fear, you know, the flying death traps anymore. You know what I'm saying? So in this world, in this portion of Westeros, and this time period of Game of Thrones, the Targaryens aren't, you know, they're not as powerful as they used to be. It is you know, by the time we come into Game of Thrones proper, you know, they're gone, and we heard about their decline, but this is like the kind of like the beginning of the steady decline.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Mari, what happened to the dragons? Like, why did they die?
Well, okay, I mean, so I think that might be a spoiler of the House of the Dragon.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil the House of the Dragon.
All right,
yeah,
got it.
But just know it's a House of the Dragon is like a household civil war, and I think that when you start fighting each other, I think you have casualties, and I just think there was a lot of them.
Yeah, very that.
Yeah, nobody wins when the family feuds. Yeah,
that part. That said, Mari, anything else for your book club?
Oh, so some other families that we saw here. If you saw, we saw the tower, the high towers were represented there.
Team Green.
Yeah.
Green.
Right. I believe
I see they dragons ain't nowhere to be seen either.
Yeah, seriously. You just said demon. That's what you are.
Maybe
for the high tower.
I gotta talk about how one of the Tullys bit the head off a fish. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah, that man bit a fish alive, and I was like, I didn't realize he was a Tully.
Yeah, that's
exactly what a Tully would do.
Redhead, red and
exactly
blue.
What a Tully would do.
Bit the fish head. So we've seen a lot of families here that we're used to. Tyrell, House Tyrells were there making a pretty good showing until I think somebody fell off and ran into his horse, so then he tried to jump off of his horse. So a lot of families represented in that joust portion.
The most unnecessary sport ever in the history of time. Like, why would you put the heir to the throne in the position to be spiked in the face? I just don't understand. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's like the reason that like Henry VIII got a TBI and was terrible and started murdering his wives. Like, who came up with this? Why is this a good idea? It's not.
Back to what you were saying about Dunk. Dunk is on at one point he has I'm sorry about Egg. Egg is on Dunk's shoulders, and he does hop down when he catches some banners. Which banners were he running from?
I think that he was running from those Targaryen banners.
Okay.
He seemed to get real nervous when he saw those Targaryen banners, and that like not so nice king did say that he was missing 2 of his sons. So maybe we have been seeing one of them the whole time, and he's just gonna have to like, you know, stay away from all things Targaryen so he doesn't get discovered.
Might be tough considering he's trying to squire a knight who will be at battle in front of these Targaryens, and so I'm dying to see how that turns out. But this has been a good book corner. I think that it, you know, we got into some of the things. We didn't spoil House of the Dragon too much either. But we have so much more of A Night of Seven Kingdoms to talk about. Like we said, every Sunday we'll be watching the episode and recording immediately after. And there have been people hitting me up to be guests on this podcast. The War Dog, who famously guest with us from Survivor, The Edge of Extinction. He came on last season when we talked about House of the Dragon. He wants to come back. But also Bruce Perrault wants to come and join us to talk about House of the Dragon. It seems like the Survivor players are just like dying to talk dragons. So we'll see if we can get Bruce on as well. And we'll see if maybe Latonya can come back and join us. Latonya, this has been so much fun.
I've had so much fun talking to you all. I desperately needed this. I have to be on the episode that Bruce is on. I'm sorry. Like I need to be in the room where it happens. I'm just staking my claim now. You know, here's a horse. Please feed her some oats.
And an apple. She likes apples. I believe Jazz from the Was It Good Though podcast will be joining us next week, and so we do have a lot to look forward to. But Latonya, let everybody know what you're working on and where they can find you and what you and I have coming up soon.
Yeah, Chappell and I are working on a secret project.
It's not a secret anymore. You can talk about it.
Oh, okay, I can talk about it.
Yeah.
We are covering It, Welcome to Derry, which is my favorite show of the year. It's
a short year.
Well, it feels like it's been a long year already. But like I love this show so much. I love that Andy Muschietti and his sister came back after doing the movies and like made this show, and it's basically centered around like a Black family moving into Derry and the type of evil the people of Derry are willing to put up with, because they all know that every 27 years something is going to happen. So we had a really fun time covering that first episode. That should be out soon. And then over at Silent Podcasts, Gia and I are going to be back at it. We are going to be talking about Survivor 50. I cannot wait, because I just know that it's going to be a mess.
Mm-hmm.
And I love mess. I'm like Marie Kondo. So I'm going to be and like talking to Gia about it. Perfect. So we're going to be doing that over at Silent Podcast. So you want to check that out. Also, I'm at LK Starks on Twitter and Blue Sky, and at Stormborn1222 on Instagram. Follow me for lots of food content as I try to make my way through living in Boston and having a ridiculous snowstorm happen.
All right. Thank you so much. And George R.R. Mari, what are you working on these days?
That's amazing.
You're welcome.
You can find me over on Crime Scene with Sarah Carradine, where we talk true crime. So you can go to crimescenepod.com in order to subscribe. That's crime, SEEN pod.com. Or you can go to buymeacoffee.com/crimescenepod. Subscribers, members, throw us a couple of bucks. You'll get access to exclusive content over there. So you can also find me on Blue Sky at Mari Talks Too Much. That's 2 like the number 2.
All right. And as far as here on Recap Kickback, Puya and I are wrapping up our coverage of Bel Air season 4. We have our last 2 episodes coming out this week, so stay tuned for that. Gia and I are still talking about Abbott Elementary. Every other week we are dropping 2 episode recap about a pair of episodes, and so you can check that out here on Recap Kickback as well. Chantel and I have been talking about Flavor of Love live on YouTube every week, and we have now covered Flavor of Love season 1 and 2, and now we are about to go talk about the next iteration of the Flavor of Love universe, I Love New York, live on YouTube. So check that out, and then tune into everything else we have coming your way on Recap Kickback. We also have Gia's newsletter, Bet on Black, so subscribe. That link will be in our show notes. And I'm also working on some Marvel coverage coming your way with Anthony from the Talking Ish podcast and Jason Reed to talk about Wonder Man. Is dropping this week, the first 4 episodes. We'll talk, the whole of the thing is dropping this week, all 8 episodes, but we'll talk about the first 4 this week. We'll talk about the second 4 the next week, and then stay tuned for much more in February as we kick off Black History Month with It, Welcome to Derry with me and Latonya. But that's it for for Mari and for Latonya and for myself and for the rest of the Westeros community here on How the Westeros Kickback. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here. We'll talk to y'all next time. Peace.
I've been trapped behind 12 Marias, isolated like it's North Korea. Smaller city with some bigger dreams. The wall is cracked, I'm looking in between it. The world is yours, but man, I gotta see it. They say it's hard, but man, I gotta see it. The air I'm breathing can't feel my chest. Wait on life, I wanna hold my breath. I'ma get in my goddamn self.